I would like to share with you the storybook romance of Mike and Jenn. And this storybook romance of Mike and Jenn reads like a best-selling novel. There's intrigue, i.e. the time they met 8 years ago when Mike was substituting at Steveston, London. There's drama, i.e. the time that Mike first asked Jenn out and got rejected. There's comedy, i.e. the time that Mike first asked Jenn out and got rejected. There's more comedy, i.e. the time that Mike dressed up as bacon to Jenn's eggs for Halloween at school. There's action, i.e. their trips abroad, including an exciting trek through Asia. And there's tragedy, i.e. the time that Mike first asked Jenn out and got rejected. Jenn's first impression of Mike was that he was nice, cute, tall, lanky, and awkward. Mike's first impression of Jenn was that she was very organized. After a few years of getting to know each other, they started to date in the summer of 2012. They strengthened their relationship by traveling, going to shows, and talking hockey. Which leads us to the proposal story, one of the most creative and romantic proposals that I've ever heard of, and I was blessed to be part of it, and thus can give you a first-hand account of the special day. Jenn, despite her sometimes shyness, told Mike that she thought a public proposal was more romantic. It was more risky, and it required the man to step his game up, so to speak. Mike never wanted to back down from a challenge, took Jenn's words to heart, and started to scheme. After a while, he came up with the perfect plan to incorporate the Vancouver Canucks, a team that both of them love. So Mike came up with his dream proposal that included a Canuck player bringing the ring to them at center ice, full lights, goal horn, music, scoreboard, and both families waiting in the Canucks dressing room to spray champagne on Mike and Jenn, just like a Stanley Cup celebration. Now, upon contacting the team, Mike was disappointed to hear that each of his ideas would not work out. Firstly, the Canucks players contractually weren't allowed to do it. In hindsight, that would have been the closest that many of them will ever get to holding a ring. Secondly, the full audio and visual component would have cost Mike a full year of his decent teacher salary. And lastly, John Tortorella, our head coach at the time, had instituted a rule prohibiting anyone from entering the Canucks dressing room. Maybe that's why he was so keen to get into the Calgary dressing room that one night. So after a bit of back and forth with the team, Mike finalized his plan. He would bring Jenn to Rogers Arena under the guise of an arena tour for season ticket holders. And I would bring Sean, my son, to make it even less suspicious. Once the date of the proposal was set, Mike had only a week to pull it off. Looking ahead to the proposal, Mike had two main concerns. One was Jenn's mother, the other was me. They say that loose lips sink ships. Well, in our case, we might as well have been captaining the Titanic. So Jenn's mom and dad collectively held up their end of the bargain as they kept the secret going, despite a family dinner just a couple of days after Mike had asked them for permission to marry their daughter. As for me, I almost spoiled things when I called Mike on the weekend to finalize details for the Tuesday night proposal. Except I didn't know that Mike was with Jenn when I called. Anyone else see a trend here? And I'm sure Mike wasn't counting on me saying, "Oh, Jenn's with you right now, isn't she?" really loudly into the phone. Thankfully, Jenn tuned me out, much like everyone else in my life. And the master plan was still intact. To be safe, we didn't tell Sean about the proposal either. He, like Jenn, just thought it was an arena tour. As the Tuesday night approached, Mike started to get more nervous, and he sent out an email to his family, Jenn's family, and me with final details. Remember what I was saying about the quality and clarity of Mike's emails? Check out this excerpt from his email to us. Okay, so they changed it to 6:30. The trick, of course, will be to get you all there on time, but not too early. Too late and you'll miss the action. Too early and there's the chance that we might see you on the way there and you'll wreck it. But I guess not if your early isn't as early as our early. So don't be too early or too late. Be just right. We are planning on picking up Sean at around 4:30. I mentioned this to Jenn and she thought it was a little early, so we might leave closer to 4:45. Yeah, closer to 4:45. Because 4:30 is a little early according to Jenn. Wait a sec, I just said that. Realistically, it shouldn't take us more than 45 minutes to get there. So 4:45 is probably plenty early. Yes, plenty lots early. Clay, could you let let Sean know it will be between 4:30 and 4:45, but closer to 4:45 because 4:30 is a little early, according to Jen. 4:45 is still plenty early. Plenty lots early. I'll leave it up to the rest of you to establish when to leave, but please don't come too early. But please don't come too late. Do my emails sound like Kevin? Anyway, so that's what he said. The tour started... I love this guy. The tour started at 6 p.m. and took an hour. Our tour guide did an amazing job of playing it cool and leading us methodically throughout the arena. Meanwhile, at 6:30, right on schedule, the two families gathered in the media room. We made our way to ice level by 7 p.m., the four of us in our blue Canucks jerseys, and then, in a brilliantly planned and superbly executed moment, I pretended to take pictures of Mike and Jenn with my camera at center ice. But in reality, I pressed the record button. Mike dropped to one knee and intricately wove a bunch of hockey references and cliches into his proposal. Here are some of the things he actually said to Jen. There's only one thing better than lifting a Stanley Cup here in the arena. I love you more than anything else, and I'd really like to spend the rest of my life with you. I'd really like it if I could lock you up to a long-term deal. You'd be the perfect person to build a whole team around. I promise I will not send you to the farm. I would really hate to go to arbitration with you. And do you hand out no trade clauses? Lastly, he asked, so Jen, will you marry me? Jen, in her super sweet voice, said, yes, of course I will. Sean was in shock. I was thrilled. The tour guide was wiping tears from her eyes, and John Tortorella was likely seething somewhere. As Mike and Jen's families rushed onto the ice to congratulate the two of them, Mike asked Jen, now can I try and lift you up above my head as if you were the Stanley Cup? Less than 30 seconds after saying yes, Jen said no. Mike and Jen, look at this room, look at all the people who are here to celebrate with you tonight. This trumps any sporting championship, and hopefully you won't have to worry about a riot when we all leave. Today you finish off your respective books and start a brand new life together. A book with new chapters and a blank set of pages. May your new life together as husband and wife be the best fairy tale ever written, and may you live happily ever after. May God bless you both.